Nsem-Pii TV nie.
Former President John Dramani Mahama say because Saglemi housing project was started by him, current President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo empesa oyeden otwaso no ye. Na adding na wakwa starting new Pokwase housing projects. Na owie Saglemi housing project ayebeka say former President John Dramani Mahama ne start ye na Nana Addo Akufo-Addo empesa oyeden otwaso. Na yebusa say e-blocks are Nana Addo Akufo-Addo even otwaso or see more e-blocks even than former President John Dramani Mahama or Shasieno. And then they went who anka ana United University of Ghana Medical School. Former President John Dramani Mahama Shasi na equipment in him. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo the equipment, genset ne personnel for Shasi operative fully in Ghana or University of Ghana Medical School no. And then they went who anka ana ambulances are the late John Evans at Tamils a car said Ghana ambulances fleet our form into yen and procure new ones in Bra no crap the no gina between kind. Former President John Dramani Mahama Baya at forcing is in case is in court right now or dealing with over 3.25 million euros in terms of financial malfeasance. So Nana Addo Akufo-Addo besum wakra 200 ambulances for one each and every district, and also when who and nursing and teachers training allowance are not former President John Dramani Mahama person now so because of financial constraints in inability to prove their competence in management of the economy or maintenance. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo abasolve etria teachers ne nurses no and on the way who anka ana even talk about doom so or say on DP or sign a PPP agreement in Nana Addo Akufo-Addo be inherit power wama power na eden I somewhat stable for the 2-year term, 8-year duration. Year called the 8-year, and also when who anka na yenko in some against former president, current president Nana Addo Akufo-Addo say on person or to a Saglemi house and so now even goes to show in some chief for former president John Dramani Mahama so ben on who's a leadership style akakaka because anka president or a leader of executive who won't tear say case ni ewo judiciary yemfa yensanka until a judgment has come down on the matter. Saglemi housing is in court. ET Mensah kwa frere NDC Sami Gyamfi and John Dramani Mahama say statement no more pedal a pack of lies. Interview or granting ma Paul Adam Otri yenkoni nkuti nsema ET Mensah e kafa former President John Dramani Mahama and Sami Gyamfi almost statement almost release after the Saglemi court case EBP.
Move on. This is captured in black and white in the Parliamentary Hansard of 23rd October 2013. Sami Gyamfi makes a clever reference, which we like. We like that because we like research. He says, whatever ET Mensah said, don't take it from him. Go to the Parliamentary Hansard. It's right there. You can see it. Okay. Number 4, subsequent to the grant of parliamentary approval, the Ministry of Works and Housing under Honorable ET Mensah again prepared and executed a works agreement with the contractors for the project. Contractor was OAS Limited. So ET Mensah did some work, he put it together, and then he put together the documents with the contracted OAS. Okay, it is in the works agreement that the government decided to build the 5,000 units in 4 phases. Okay, the consultant for the project was AESL on agreement. Okay, this is also very interesting. That's what the NDC is saying through Sami Gyamfi. Now, this is interesting because he says that the agreement was for 5,000 houses. ET Mensah and the contractors decided that they would do it in 4 phases, and that the consultant for the project was a government consultant, and that Parliament had approved the agreement. So we will assume that 5,000 houses for 200 million. This is the NDC statement. 5,000 houses for 200 million. Okay, let's move on. And therefore, the works agreement, which was an issue of implementation by the ministry, was not required to be approved by Parliament. Okay, great. So Sami Gyamfi is building a point that 200 million for 5,000 houses. A works agreement was agreed between ET Mensah and the consultants. That works agreement need not go to Parliament. It need not. I'm not sure what is the difference between a works agreement and produce 5,000 houses, because the obligation which you will see of the government was that Parliament gave to the government was we are going to approve 200 million for you. You are going to build us 5,000 houses. Yes, you can decide to do that in phases, but that should not change the figure unless Parliament is part of the change. I think we can understand that. We have approved 200 million for you. You build 5,000 houses. You can do it however you want. Many phases, other phases, 3 phases, 10 phases, 4 phases. But you have 200 million to build 5,000. Okay, that doesn't come clear here from Sami Gyamfi's statement at this stage. He says that the works agreement was not an issue of implementation by the ministry, and it did not require Parliament's approval, which will be deciding to do it in phases. I think that's what he's saying. If you decide to do it in phases, you don't need to go back to Parliament. Somehow we can agree with that. Okay, let's move on. Under the works agreement, government was supposed to provide a service plot of land with roads, water, electricity, drains, sewage systems, and other ancillary facilities for the smooth takeoff of the project. Okay. The cost of which had not been factored into the amount of $200 million approved by Parliament for the project, since the government did not have any funds to fall onto to discharge these responsibilities. Voila! Here is the filling of the lacuna. Let's start. Very interesting. He says under the agreement, the government was supposed to provide service plot, which makes a lot of sense. Service plot of land with roads. Government is supposed to provide roads, water, electricity, drains, sewage system, and other ancillary facilities for the smooth takeoff of the project. However, the cost of these things had not been factored into the amount of $200 million. So when Parliament approved $200 million, Sami Gyamfi wants us to believe that the $200 million was excluding the ancillary facilities that needed the project to work. That is roads, sewage system, etc. Service plot, generally a service plot, a plot that has water connection, has electricity connection, that all of that was not part of the 200 million. Government was supposed to provide that. He says also that government did not have money to fall on to make these commitments. He says, let me take it from here. It says the cost of which had not been factored into the amount of 200 million approved by Parliament for the project, since the government did not have any funds to fall onto to discharge these responsibilities. He said the government didn't have any funds to fall onto to discharge the responsibilities. Therefore, the decision was taken by the ministry to use part of the approved amount of the project, 200 million, for all the necessary ancillary works to pave way for the construction of the housing units and to make the project site a commercially viable and habitable community. There we go. So the Attorney General is prosecuting that you were 200 million was approved for the entire project. The NDC says 200 million was approved for the project itself. That 200 million did not include all the ancillary things that government as a partner to the project had to do. The project is being done, the loan is being taken, project is being done by a contractor, government is his partner. Government provide me the land, I'll build the houses. Sami Gyamfi says to provide the land in a service plot, it excluded 200 million. Government didn't have money to do all of those ancillary works, sewage and all that. So government had to take from the 200 million for that purpose. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. It says, this is what informed the decision by the ministry to do the project in phases, as the Honorable ET Mensah had already intimated to Parliament. Clearly, the 5,000 houses could not be built at a go. Yes, that's true. Also, the initial drawings presented to the Ministry of Works and Housing by the developer was based on a Brazilian building code, and it wasn't fit for the Ghana setting. Yes, so you have seen it. The original drawings was from Brazil. It was somehow not fit for the Ghana setting. All the Ghanaians around the table, including ET Mensah, who is here in the studio tonight, found out after Parliament had done the approval that the original drawings you had brought was not fit for Ghanaian setting. They all found out later. 275 members of Parliament, the parliamentary committee, they considered a loan for 200 million, a loan for a housing project. They didn't ask for the drawings, or they asked for it, they saw it, they didn't notice that it was Brazilian setting. Sami Gyamfi doesn't tell us how we came to that realization, because maybe he should have added how we came to that realization, that in the course of a meeting, one very clever consultant said, hey, wait a minute, this is fit for Brazil, it's not fit for Ghana. He didn't tell us all of that. Now, this is where we are. Okay, so let's summarize what Sami Gyamfi is saying. So he's saying that 5,000 units approved for 200 million. Government found out that they didn't have money to do the ancillary work, the plot, sewage system, etc., etc. So they took money from within the 200. That means that 200 will no longer be for 5,000. maybe at that stage, Parliament should come in. At the stage where you realize that the 200 million Parliament approved will be insufficient for the 5,200 to do something, maybe, I'm not a judge, I don't know, but maybe for the sacrosanctness of Article 1812, you may have to go back to Parliament and tell them that, Mr. Speaker, we have found out that we are unable to do this, so we are asking Parliament to approve another 30 million for the Sagleme project. That would have brought you 230 million. If, for instance, you value that you needed 30 million to complete the project, maybe that's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. I'm guessing, I don't know. When we open the phone lines, our people are here, you can start sending the text messages to them and they will talk about it. So that's Sammy Gyamfi's first point. His second point is that whilst we approve 5,000 units of houses, we go through a works agreement, which is done by the minister with the contractor. At ET Mensah stage, the works agreement was in 4 phases, to deliver the building in 4 phases. At Collins Dowda stage, he brought it down to 3 phases. That has nothing to do with changing the 5,000. Then he concludes by saying that the payments that were made, certificates were issued by AESL and others. It's Ministry of Finance that paid. It's not Collins Dowda that paid. So why are you charging Collins Dowda? That's the point Sammy Gyamfi is making. And he's also saying that if you are charging people for this matter, then you should charge Atachian as well. Because he also did some amendments to the works, which he didn't take to Parliament, out of which 5.6 million was paid by Atachian's Ministry of Finance. That's Sammy Gyamfi's story. So what did Parliament approve? We know 200 million for 5,000 houses. Is that what Parliament approved?
Yeah, 5,000 houses, because again, we brought in the off-taker. The off-taker was the home loans.
Ghana Home Loans.
Ghana Home Loans.
To off-take all 5,000?
Yeah, to off-take all 5,000.
And then hand it over to workers.
To workers. We are then even registered workers.
Who were going to occupy
who were interested in it.
I see.
Yeah. The registered
so Ghana Home Loans was supposed to off-take and pay the money to who?
They off-take and pay the money to Credit Suisse.
Oh, Credit Suisse directly to pay the loan as it were.
The loan.
Okay.
Because the loan was paid lodged in Bank of Ghana, and the interest of the creditor was who was going to pay.
Okay. Yes.
STS. Ghana government, even gave
the
sovereign guarantee.
Yeah.
And because of that brouhaha that happened, government wasn't interested, and the time was so short to even think about any sovereign guarantee. So we're lucky that home loans came in handy and decided to be part of the project.
Oh, I see. So this is interesting. So you were going to bill for Ghana Home Loans to pay the off-taker, and then if there was any more money.
Exactly.
Okay,
yes,
so 200 million was approved by Parliament.
Yeah.
How much were you going to spend on road and sewage and all
that? No, the details are there. I can let you have it later. Because
okay, but
they did all that. Sewage, when you go there, all the asphalt that you see over there.
It's all part of the 200 million.
200 million.
So if somebody tells us today that the 200 million excluded sewage and road and a site for the land, a service plot, we should not believe that person.
That person doesn't know what he's talking about. Because we have all the facts, and let me tell you, I'm surprised at what is happening, because when Prof died and some of us were removed and new persons went, when you are leaving as a minister, you are leaving an office as a minister, you prepare handing over notes, detailed handing over notes. And I have my copy, and the person that I handed over to was Collins Dowda. He knows it, and he should have a copy as well out there.
And in those handing over notes, we will see that the 200 million included all of the other ancillary things.
Yes, certainly. There was no way we wouldn't have stated all this. And not only the housing, all that we did out there, everything.
What about the drawings? We are being told that some drawings were given to your ministry. You people found out later that the drawings were not fit for purpose. They are from Brazil.
It's absolutely not true.
It's not true.
It's absolutely false, palpably false.
So what about what do you know about the Brazil drawings?
I was in Brazil drawings. I am not a technical person, so we set up a technical committee which worked on this.
So the document you took to Parliament, did it include drawings and all that?
No. You don't take drawings to Parliament.
Okay. To Parliament. How many phases were you going to complete this in?
5,000 houses, first phase.
One phase, build all the 5,000?
Yeah.
But we are being
houses.
told that you were going to do it in 4 phases.
It is lie. It's a lie.
It's a lie?
I was not involved in any phases. We knew that we wanted 5,000 houses to be built for workers, and it was approved. Executive approval was given, and then Parliament